Welcome to the Digital Photography Cafe. I'm Trevor Current, your digital marketing guy.
And I'm Joseph Cristina, your professional photographer.
So grab a latte, pull up a chair, and join us as we chat about the art and business of photography.
All right, everybody, welcome back to the show. And this hour, we have Kevin Kubota on the show, which I'm sure everyone has heard of. And go ahead and, you know what, give us a little background about you.
A little background, well, I've been a professional photographer for 20 years. And
just a couple,
two with a zero in the end. But I've been into photography since I was a kid, and my dad was a great amateur photographer. And I stumbled into the job after searching as a graphic designer, as a fashion designer, other things, and couldn't find the right creative outlet, and this just happened to work. And so I started shooting weddings actually real soon after I got into professional photography, and I loved it, and that became my specialty for many years. It was wedding photography, which I just actually retired from this past year.
Really?
So no longer shooting weddings, and instead I'm doing personal projects and things like my lighting notebook. And I started teaching probably about 12 years ago, teaching workshops and seminars and creating software for myself, which turned into software that other photographers wanted and could use as well. So that's how that kind of came to be.
Excellent. And you just said lighting notebook. Is that one of the items that we're highlighting this year?
Yeah, the lighting notebook just came out. It's a brand new book published by Wiley. And kind of key things that make it stand out. It's beautifully laid out, designed, lots of images, which photographers like to look at pretty pictures rather than reading a whole bunch of stuff. And it chronicles 101 different photo shoots that we did, most of them specifically for the book. And so there's background photos of each shoot, in addition to diagrams of where everything was placed, what we used, breakdown of all the components and the equipment used, as well as any background information, if there was little tips and tricks we learned during the shoot. And we wanted the book to be inspiring as far as the imagery, so not just a textbook, model sitting in a studio, here's broad light, here's, split light, blah, blah, blah.
Right.
But to really fill it with inspiring images that people would love to look at and then be inspired to go out and try and emulate it and learn from that themselves. So we've gotten a tremendous response. Everybody seems to be loving the way it's laid out, the way it presents it in a fun and approachable manner. And it brings me back to my roots, which is really, creating a good photograph.
Now, what level photographer would you say that this book is for? I mean, will the beginner be able to really pick up from this, or is this more advanced techniques in lighting?
I think anyone who wants to really take portrait photography seriously, it could be an advanced amateur if they have some lighting equipment at their disposal, maybe some speed lights. It does basically go over using equipment. So if you're an amateur that has no equipment, maybe this will inspire you to get some. But it's really probably more focused towards professionals who are looking to hone their use of equipment, whether it be speed lights or studio lights, and also even natural light in a better way.
Right.
For portraiture, it really is all about people pictures in this book.
Right. Yeah.
So you have a final image, and then you have a discussion and how it was produced and how it was made. That's great.
Yeah, and it really breaks it down.
Be able to see the backbone, what happened.
Yeah, all behind the scenes. People love the behind the scenes photos, which you don't see a lot. You may see diagrams in some books, but to see a photo, it really puts it in a three-dimensional perspective, so you can see the relationship between where the light was, where it was facing, and where I was in the scene, and all of that. So that helps to really pull it together.
Give context.
Yeah, give it context.
Absolutely. And I think that you have some software that you possibly have available now that you're highlighting also. Is that correct?
Yeah. Well, the book does come with a free set of Lightroom presets, and Lightroom products are really, really hot right now. We do Photoshop plugins, enhancements for your images in Photoshop, which we've had for several years, and that keeps getting better and better with our latest release, our latest being Viva La Vintage and Powwow, which is vintage looks and punchy color looks. This is all run on our dashboard for Photoshop. Okay. And we also have Lightroom presets and Lightroom tutorials, and those are really, really hot. People are discovering the benefit of doing most of your workflow in Lightroom and saving Photoshop for the trickier things and using the two nice together. But the more you can do in Lightroom, I think people find they can speed up their workflow, and our presets really help with that.
Yeah, absolutely. That we've talked about that in the past, about trying to stay out of Photoshop as much as you can, unless you really have to go in there and do that detail work, really get in there and enhance it. Working in Lightroom will definitely help speed up the whole process.
Yeah, I'd say we do at least 80% of our work just in Lightroom, and then finish it up in Photoshop. But getting it out the door, getting a proof to the client that looks really, really nice via the Lightroom presets is completely feasible now, and that happens much faster than it used to when we had to do everything into Photoshop.
Right, so not only do you have the plugins and of course you're shooting, but you also do workshops, right?
Yeah.
What type of workshops do you do? And who are they for? Are they for the regular photographer, like an AM, a pro-am, a pro?
Our main workshop is our digital photography bootcamp, and this is one that we created over 10 years ago. We just did our 21st bootcamp, and this is a week-long program held in Bend, Oregon, and this is for the pro photographer looking to move their business to the next level, needing help with workflow, needing help with lighting. We cover lighting, workflow, enhancing the images, marketing, sales, promotions. We go over portfolio reviews, pretty much everything you need to do to move your studio up. Start making better money than you're making now.
And that's throughout the country, or where are the workshops?
We hold that one only in Oregon, in Central Oregon.
Okay, gotcha.
The other one that we do is an Italy workshop, which is a creative workshop, and this is open to non-professionals as well, anybody who's just passionate about photography, and this is less workflow intensive and more creative projects and seeing the world a little differently, and it's pretty awesome workshop.
Italy, I mean, who wouldn't want to go to Italy?
Yeah, who wouldn't want to go to Italy?
Yeah, sounds like a...
Except for maybe some Italians, but...
who already lived there.
Just the textures alone and being in that type of environment.
Oh yeah, the architecture, yeah.
Everywhere you turn around, there's just something beautiful. It's like a candy store for photographers. Just you can't hardly get a block away, and you're.
Well, and a whole new bunch of scenery, right? I mean, you get out of your own hometown where you've probably photographed everything.
Yeah.
I mean, they always say, go out of your own back door and start taking pictures because you're going to find things that you never thought to photograph before. That's fine, but once you've done all that, maybe we want to travel a little bit
further.
Maybe go to the neighbor's house, photograph something over there,
Just be careful what you're photographing at your neighbor's house through the windows, right?
Nothing through windows, small lenses only,
That's right. Well, listen, it was really great having you. I'm sure all listeners are going to want to check out everything that you have to offer. Where's the best place to be able to send them?
Well, the best place to check out our products and education material is KubotaImageTools.com. And I also have a blog, KevinKubotaBlog.com. Great place to see what's up with me. And of course, we're on Twitter and Facebook, but the blog will take you to the right spots and get you connected and show you some little insight into what's going on in my world too. So
great.
Fun.
Thanks so much for being on the show.
Thanks,
really
guys.
appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks a lot, Kevin.
It's great to be here. Thanks.